So many of you are going through such hard times right now, challenging times. Some of you out there might be sick with an illness or experiencing massive depression, anxiety, fear, resentment, anger, and going through, a divorce or losing a parent, losing a loved one, going through whatever, losing a pet. Fill in the blank. There is so much pain and suffering happening in our world. Did you ever feel like you chose some of this before you got here? If I had heard this 10 years ago, maybe even less, I would have thought you were and there's just been so much that has sort of shifted in the sense of what we're actually here for in this human form on planet Earth. I realized going through my own spiritual awakening and realize I'm an intuitive psychic medium is that we don't choose easy lessons when we come here. Most of us don't. Our souls want to evolve. They want to expand. They want to grow. They want to love. They want to connect. They want to feel what peace feels like. But in order to feel those things and learn those lessons, you often have to experience quite the opposite. All life is duality. To know what peace and harmony is, you would need to really understand what chaos and overwhelm feels like, or to experience the greatest grief and pain to understand what real unconditional love is. To experience this great deal of suffering that only the human condition endures would also be able to give us this connection and compassion to others. So, why would we choose such challenging avenues? Why would we choose such challenging lessons? And from what I've learned from, the spirit guides and my ancestors and being in psychic medium readings and tapping into, other ancestors and spirit guides, it's all relevant. It's all the same. We come here in these massive soul tribes, and we come in before we're even born with soul agreements, and we essentially meet before we incarnate here in, we'll just call it like a soul room. And it's kind of like a meeting about what your life is going to look like. And you're in this place with all these other souls that have probably been part of your life, multitude of lifetimes. Maybe your brother in this life was your husband or your father in another life. And so we continue to play different roles for one another so that we can remember exactly who we are. And so a lot of the themes that we all pick are very similar to other people's themes, but it has a unique blueprint to exactly who we are and how we'll experience it. And it's not always pretty how we want to experience it. And we don't have all the details of how everything's going to play out. We just have the themes and who's going to play those roles for us. And so in reflecting back about life, seeing life in a completely different lens, it gives you this appreciation for the people and the things that you've overcome. And in so many ways, for example, nasty divorce. We could call it nasty divorce, but what did that person teach you about yourself? Because sure as shit, you are not the same person you were coming out of a divorce that you were going into that marriage, or even as you were going through it. And I would imagine 5 years later, post-divorce, 10 years, the lessons keep coming, right? And so through a lot of journey work, a lot of plant medicine, I've been able to see exactly the contracts that I picked for myself. And so while I used to sort of play a victim in my life of why the fuck would I choose this? Or why does all this happen to me? It was what is this teaching me? How am I supposed to use this to sort of catapult myself into wherever I'm going next? And it gave me this massive appreciation for everybody else around me who's going through their own journey. They may not be where you are on your journey, So there's like no place for you to be judging anybody else. There's no place for you to really hold on to such resistance and resentment and anger towards someone else, And also like being able to let go. It's okay. We don't need to hang on to everyone or everything for our entire existence here. Some things are meant to be short-lived. Some things are supposed to be long-term. Some things come in to teach you the hardest fucking lessons. But when you reflect on this, you realize like, shit, who would I be without these experiences? Who would I be without that divorce? Who would I be without losing a partner to cancer? Who would I be without losing my dad abruptly? Who would I be if I didn't struggle with who I was my whole adult life? Who would I be if I didn't silence myself and swallow my words for such a long time in my life? Is this resonating with any of you out there? Because it's supposed to. And, it's just giving you permission to be exactly who you came here to be. Can you look at some things in your life and recognize patterns that are playing out, or behaviors, or addictions, or maybe relationships in your life that have run their course and it's time to let go to see what else comes in? Because that's the other thing with soul contracts. During some of the darkest nights of the soul, when you're letting go and you're not like quite where you want to be or know who you are yet, but you're not that former version of yourself. Pay attention who comes in during those times in your life, because there's probably a soul contract in action there too. That could be a mentor, it could be a therapist, it could be a pet, an animal, a friend, a coworker that comes out of the woodwork. Like, you don't know how these people are going to show up, but I will tell you that we have quite a few soul contracts with lots of different souls in our life. And sometimes they're longer lived, but also sometimes it could just be meeting that one person that made that massive impact on that flight or that train ride, or you shared an Uber with someone who like changed your life, and you feel like these connections to people that you can't explain. Yes, that's a soul contract in action. And it also works for many of us in our relationships, right? In our money and our health. I do believe that we come here to master these pillars of our being, our health, our wealth, our life path, our career, love, all of this, because these things can't be felt on the human level in the spiritual realm. And so in so many circumstances, as it comes in through all these messages, is these souls often truly miss the experience of that connectedness through intimacy, sex, touch, hugs, kisses, food, even like the ability to actually use the bathroom to pee or poop. Like, these are things that we get to experience in this human meat suit. And I think it's pretty interesting and heart-provoking. I don't want to say thought-provoking. I want to say heart-provoking, because these things get to be felt here. And how cool is it here that you get to experience all these different emotions and feelings, to be able to expand. And even if you're in a place where you feel disconnected and totally stuck in your life through hardships and traumas and griefs and all those things you've experienced, maybe the question is why? Maybe the question is not asking yourself, why is this happening to me? But what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me about my evolution? And that's where the journey begins, my loves. Anyways, this is really long, and maybe this is a several-part series. I don't even know if this could be a video or multiple videos, and I still have a whole lot more to say.